What's going on? This is Aaron Price, the CEO of Tech United New Jersey. Very excited to be with you today. We are going to be joined by Carl Emazanti, the president and chairman of the board of Emazanti Technologies. They are growing very, very rapidly. Eager to hear what you have to say, Carl, about the outlook for the year, the opportunity in tech, and where you see things changing. Last time we spoke, I believe you were in Hawaii.
Yep.
Where are you? Have you leveled up? Or
down
no,
I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey. I'm not in the office.
So it's a level up. We're going with a level up from Hawaii.
Yeah.
In Hoboken.
Definitely. Yep,
nice to see you.
Exactly correct.
Welcome
it's good
back
to see you too. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thrilled to have you. So can you let's for people who aren't familiar with Emazanti, so people understand the context there, can you share a little bit about the organization and what it is exactly that you guys do?
Sure. Our bread and butter is, for many, we are their IT departments and have been for 22 years. Haven't changed our rates in 22 years. We're really good at what we do. So we're a 4-time Microsoft Partner of the Year. We're a 5-time WatchGuard Partner of the Year. And some of the reasons why I start with some of those things is we're really, really capable of solving customer problems. We have incredibly high customer retention rate. We've grown 20% plus now for 20 years. And in economies like this, where things are a little challenging, we tend to grow even faster.
Why is that? Like, how have you? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think some of the conversations for today are about that, like education and learning and giving. Like, our firm gives a lot back and has always been very heavy engineer focused and very few salespeople. So when there's few salespeople, we're not lobbing all sorts of new ideas out to a customer. What we're trying to do is get you to do more with what you have. And if you do more with what you have, you stay loyal to the people you have. You get a ton of value out of it. You feel remorse if you lose access to us. We have owners that show up at our office. 24 hours. The place is open 24 hours. You can come by as a customer whenever you feel like it. It's like a benefit. And some guy showed up on this last holiday weekend, brought his laptop in, and sat there with the staff, just shooting the breeze, saying that we were the most important place to be, more so than his family and everybody else in the holiday. He needed to be with us, and we're happy to help.
That sounds up until the more so than his family, I was very impressed.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got a priority in life, right? And sometimes we have to choose and balance the things out. But he knew he was flying to Europe in the coming week for work, and he couldn't do what he needed to do, and he had to make it work before he got towards a flight.
I get it. So you've grown pretty dramatically, in the many years that I've now known you, since my way back in the New Jersey Tech Meetup days to now. What are you seeing with company growth?
I mean, the terminology in our whole office is really do more with less. That's like our key item for the year. There will always be some hyper growth customers that are taking place. So, like in some of the segments that we service, they're doing just fine. In some other segments, there's definitely value engineering taking place where we need to reduce some costs, and as there's headcount that's dropping off, we have to increase the productivity of those that remain. Those kind of fall into the 3 buckets of our business. So drive revenue, increase productivity, or reduce costs. And you can kind of do 2 out of any of those 3 in any given year, but it's very difficult to try and do 3. And then really for this year, one of the secret sauces for us, and it's really about our masterclass series and education, and my engineers do something that I don't think anybody else does on the planet. We produce 4 learnings, so 1 a week by every engineer that describes some common problem they've solved for a customer. And then 1 of those 4 we turn into a blog post. So if people went and started looking at our blog, it's like a running log of all the really cool stuff that's happening out there. It's such a great idea to pull thoughts and ideas. I'll say there's 50,000, 75,000 people that read our newsletter. Every week we send out a newsletter, and an incredible number of those are other IT firms, trying to figure out what Emazanti is doing, and then to try and do that on their own. I'll get emails from a prospect that is literally written like we wrote it. It's like amazing, because I know the other firm's trying to do whatever we're doing, and they're always behind, right? Because it's our idea, we put it out there. But for our customers, we get to proactively think about them, and people
establish
will
yourself
always,
as the thought leader.
yeah, they'll reward you for it, right?
Yeah.
You're helping
How
them.
have you kept your pricing? You said your prices haven't changed in 20 years. So
Not
that
in
makes me think either
22
your prices
years.
were very high to begin with and maybe have
Not at
now
all.
market, or how do you make that work?
We're incredibly competitive, and because of that, no one leaves us. We have some nonprofits. So I'll take a nonprofit theater. We have a nonprofit theater in New York City, and for 17 years they've been plus or minus $1,000 every year for 17 years. You can't hire someone that way. We've
Yeah.
evolved from on-premise systems to now 100% in the cloud, still within
Yeah.
$1,000.
That's
You
pretty
know,
incredible.
so
Besides the blogs, are there,
yep.
what are the master classes? What are other educational components that the
So
firm
we
produces?
run sessions every Friday. We started to
Oh,
run
and that
those.
open to everyone, open to
It's open
clients
to
only.
everyone. No. Anyone, and people come. We'll see someone come to one session, then they'll come to another session. Then their friends will show up at another session. And we see it expand throughout the company wherever they work. We're happy to do it.
Yeah. And what
The
kinds of, give me what's the length of those classes? Are these, Zoom or Teams? Like, how do people participate?
it's almost like the Burger King method. Have it your way. So it's the core ones every Friday are focused on deep dive labs based on Microsoft 365, Azure, Teams. Those are like three main pillars of our master classes. We have other ones that are based on security or cybersecurity. We have other ones that are driven towards automation. So looking at your organization and trying to increase your productivity by automating some of the tasks and things that you do inside of your firm. Once a quarter or so, we run some decision analyst or data based masterclass. Really, the best thing is to go to emazanti.net/events, and the stuff is listed there. And what's also super cool is we record. So if there was one of the sessions and you wanted to look back at the session, you most certainly can do that. The only ones we don't show that way are the labs, because many companies will talk about private things in their business, and we don't want to share those. If you were going
Yeah.
to be a member in that session, you need to leave early. We'll send you the rest of the recording, but we don't post the public recordings for the sub 20 user labs where they're talking directly about how this is going to be implemented in their firm.
That makes sense. So for 2023, right, you're experiencing some significant growth.
Yep.
Others are contracting. What are you seeing in market from your clients, and what do you think? What are you looking forward to in 2023?
Life is just about solving problems for people. If you can solve people's problems, they'll constantly reward you for it. And some of the contracting that we all read about is some of those larger entities aren't solving some people's problems, and they're almost job destroyers. So all those people I see that are dropping out, well, guess what? They're doing customers for us. We're an SMB firm. And all those people that start, they're going to start a new business, which is really my ideal customer.
Yeah.
They're going to go.
What is the right time, by the way, for those who are curious about needing some of these services? What's the right time for them to reach out to you?
Well, I think when you start your own business, or because Tech United's got a lot of startups, right? You got to solve a different problem every day. Making yourself look capable is really important. So, having your own private domain name, having some website that, hang your shingle on that they can come and talk to you about, being able to collaborate, like using Teams or video like we are today, super important. Using OneNote and sharing your ideas across others, because everyone's an entrepreneur. They got great ideas, but you've got staff that have great ideas too. So let's populate those and make them happen. Like what you should never lose a staff member because they have a great idea and they're going to go do that on their own. Inside of your organization, you should be able to have an incubator and let those things grow. I think my firm does that
now with Emazanti.
We do.
Have you helped, and do you support them financially and have some sort of equity program?
Our limit is it's got to be something to do with some customer segment, but we've been running sections of our firm like a startup for a long time. Our ERP practice, totally a startup. It's a 3-year practice that's at 1,400 or 1,500% growth. I mean, but it's got dedicated sales, dedicated engineers now. I mean, it may be our fastest $0 to $1 million firm that we've had, but it was corral of a whole bunch of customers with a common problem. How could we solve that problem? A lot of the ERP vendors are going out of business. They don't service people very well. They're arrogant about the way they deliver the service. The
Yeah.
customers already like us. We're incredibly attentive. So we just tried to solve another problem.
Yeah. For those who are experiencing some of those cutbacks, what sorts of talent are you hiring for right now?
Um, well, we hire. I'll talk about some of the things that are different because the core jobs are engineers. The core jobs are customer success managers. I mean, those things are going to be around forever. We've been picking up more project management because some of the customers need a little more. In tough times, the customer needs more hand holding than they do when there is just unlimited funds.
Yeah.
They need you to help them define how they solve their problem and lead them through how to solve the problem. That's why they come to us, because we're fast and we've done this before and we can help you do it. We hired a process engineer. So things I would say, it took us to pass 50 staff, right?
Yeah.
Before we hired.
What are you at right now, by the way?
64 out of Hoboken, and I'd love to show you the new office. We made all the news because we bought a new space in town. We doubled the amount of stuff we had available to us in Hoboken. Otherwise, we have 9 offices now overall, and this is a New Jersey focus. So, Garden State all the way. I'm going to focus on the Garden State and what we do here.
To that point, by the way, I think
Sure.
you align really well, right, with the principles we talk about, which is be best of breed, be best in class, and the region will benefit. And that's exactly right. Like you're not Emazanti NJ. You're just doing great work that happens to be here, employing people here, and the region benefits. And I think it's a perfect representation of our approach to how to elevate the region. Just be best of breed, and then the rest of it will affect the region. Yeah. So I very much appreciate that.
You got it.
Go ahead.
We beyond this call, like we give to everyone. I'm happy to open the doors and have people come through our office and look at what we do. I mean, you could subscribe to our newsletter. We let our competitors read our newsletter every month. What happens? Guess what? Their staff apply to work for us. I mean, we're happy to have people read and know what's going on. And we've been giving back to New Jersey for a long time. We're proud of.
What are you seeing with in-person work, right? You just talked about 64 people in Hoboken. Are you requiring them to actually come in? Where do you see the talent market in your space?
Our staff from 2019 and before are largely working from home. Our staff hired from 2020 and beyond are in offices. I had the facilities. We've been bringing them in to train them. We have some staff from the 2020 group till now that have moved, and we've been fine with that. We've one guy now working in the Dominican Republic. We have another person who moved to Florida. Once they've been in our office for 6 months or more, they generally know the Emazanti way, and we've got controls in place for a few people working remote. We've had little or no turnover. I mean, maybe I can measure it in a single hand for the entire firm, the whole firm.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Doing good, something right.
Generally good hiring,
Yeah, that helps.
And it's a good work environment, and it's getting so much better. I mean, the everyone wears Emazanti shirts. I mean, you don't put the shirt on unless you like what you're doing.
You don't require that. They just happen to.
We buy as much clothes as they want and tailor it, and there's unlimited budgets for the brand. So there's like a North Face bag behind me. I mean, you can get whatever you want, whenever you feel.
I need some swag. We should some swag.
Well, you need to visit. I think you come.
We'll be there.
An entire closet. We can walk in, choose your size, and we'll outfit.
I think we're not very far away, so we will certainly make that happen.
I'd like that.
I know that you guys focus a lot on cybersecurity and cloud.
Yep.
Backup as your main pillars of the organization. So, I think this is an enormous issue for both individuals and large enterprise and everything in between. What are some of the common mistakes that you're seeing people make when it comes to, especially security?
This year is all about MFA. You can't even get a cybersecurity policy any longer unless you've turned on MFA. And it's not just MFA in your email. You need to be prompted for MFA in your desktop. You have to be setting up MFA on your phones. Even my car uses MFA now. I go, and before I can drive anywhere, I have to type in a 4-digit code on the vehicle.
What kind of car does that?
Tesla.
I did
My
not know
Tesla
that.
does that.
I
Yeah, even
noticed. I'm looking at some LED strip lighting, and I noticed in one of the reviews that they talked about that as a because it's a connected item in the home,
yeah,
that it could potentially be
be breached
a
on the
sort
command.
of yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
do
the
people need to
Internet
be
of Things.
that careful?
If you have Alexa or Siri or there's the Apple product too, they're all recording everything that takes place inside of your home. You know, um, in exchange for privacy, the lack of privacy, you're getting some benefits out of it. You asked me what's the top security item for the year. MFA really is going to be the defining factor for 2023. Passwords are totally worthless. They just don't function anymore. We've got a whole bunch of password managers that are coming to market and some that are better than others. Last past 800-pound gorilla got breached. So, once you get to be that large, you can't be using the common tool any longer.
Do you have a recommended password manager for business?
WatchGuard AuthPoint should be our hero SKU for this year. And one of the reasons why we like them so much is it's tied into a SIEM. So besides having the passwords, it'll search the dark web and let you know if they're used in any other spots or someone's breached it. But it also starts to allow us to do geo blocking. Like if there's 8 billion people in the world, if you're a New Jersey business and you're only doing business in New Jersey, you only got to worry about 9 million. Cut out the rest.
Yeah.
Why is someone authenticating from Canada with your account if you're not in Canada?
What about those who work from home, right? Are there just common practices that you think people should be implementing? Not just work from home, many are working from home on a personal device with a personal phone. Are there best practices you would recommend there?
Yeah, I think most people don't realize that. So I'll just grab my Apple phone here. Most people don't realize that if I get your Apple ID, I can turn around and clone your phone. So they think, oh, I set up MFA, it's on the device, and I'm safe because I'm using MFA. What they don't
Just to be
realize,
clear, if you get the Apple ID, just the username, or you mean if they break in
I put
using your
username and password.
Okay.
When was the last time you changed your Apple password?
It's been a while.
Been a long time, yeah?
I mean, yesterday for all of you.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. I think you're going to do it when you get off the phone with me.
I'm going to have to.
Most people do. The challenge is the moment you authenticate with that, you can clone the device. Yep. And now I have all your MFA.
Yeah.
I can log into any application you do. And guess what? I can read your email.
So how do you prevent, right? Is it just because you said, right, passwords are not the most secure regardless?
Well, on the Apple devices,
how often do you change?
I made them all 50 plus characters.
Wow. But you use obviously
I use
whatever tool, WatchGuard
the tools. That's correct.
Yes,
that's correct. Because
do you use their auto-generated passwords?
So we have an internal password vault that resets every password every 15 minutes. So even if someone breaks one of the passwords, they only have access for up to 15 minutes. Could be 14, 13, whatever. But any passwords that's critical, like an admin, every 15 minutes is reset. And it's still tied into MFA. It would be very unlikely for organizations. So if you think you're trying to do this on your own, like you got to grab some expert. Otherwise, like these best practices don't get deployed to you. I'll tell you, some places in our area that have 400 plus users with their own in-house IT, they bring us in to augment them.
Yeah.
Right. Where, they use our disaster recovery plans and our business continuity plans. We've gone through Hurricane Sandy and so many disasters that, we perform, and sometimes they find their own in-house team. They just don't when the shit hits.
Yeah.
They're not there.
So I just want to come back to the personal piece, right? The enterprise piece makes total sense to me.
Yep.
For the individuals at home, even if they're part of a larger organization, maybe that organization doesn't have the right infrastructure. Yep. Any best practices you'd recommend for individuals?
Start reading our newsletter. Follow the blogs. We toss out the ideas literally every week. We toss out different ideas, and it's a great way to just apply those ideas to your own organization. Reading and most certainly coming to this session is a great way to enhance yourself. When you get from 1 to 2, or you have some sort of budget, hire some professionals, right? Yeah. Like I'm not an attorney, so I have an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I don't do our tax return. So I have someone come in. Even if you can only get fractional, like a few hours, take the few hours.
Yeah.
Come up with an agenda and say, hey, this is where we're going. Ooh, here's a secret sauce. This is so good. Most people don't realize they could use legal as a weapon. So take your security and put that into your contracts.
Yeah.
That the vendors you have are responsible for your security.
Yeah.
Because if they're staying up at night worried about how they're going to perform for you, and the backdrop is, well, their insurance or whatever else, or they're going to lose their company, it's amazing what they're going to do to make sure that it never ever happens.
Yeah. So 2 topical questions before we
Sure.
go, unrelated. Bitcoin, you think it's dead or you think it's coming back?
It really comes down to whether or not people start to transact with it.
Are
Right
you a
now,
Bitcoin? Do you hold any Bitcoin?
we do. Not only, well, we do.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, there's all sorts of reasons for having access to Bitcoin, um, really from a currency perspective, or when you need to facilitate some sort of transaction. But I've been saddened at how little usage there is. It has been very, very heavily held by an investor base, thinking they were going to make a lot of money off of it. And really, what you're seeing is all those lofty figures have come back down to reality for what's
yeah.
standing behind it.
Yeah, plus the black and gray market transactions. It's still a Wild West product.
It
The
is.
EFTs and the Celsiuses of the world aren't helping.
No.
What same question
Sure.
on Twitter?
Oh,
Future Twitter.
well, so it's interesting. I put in one of the we've quarterly objectives, quarterly rocks, and then we use annual objectives. We use EOS traction. I don't know if you know that is.
Don't
We use
know
a
it.
framework in our firm to handle the entrepreneurial journey of how we run the business. That framework has helped us out massively. And anyone else, if they want it, I'll ship you as many traction books as you want to anyone who's on this call. And have conversations about how you can implement, because most people who adopt it, they're like us, hyper growth, and it'll massively help you out. Okay. I had
Somehow that's relevant to Twitter, I'm assuming.
It is. Well, I had tagged with our marketing department. I was so surprised that Twitter on the internet ranks in like one of the top 100 sites worldwide, and I didn't expect it to be that high. I expected it to be way lower than that.
Yeah.
So I had said, hey, it's worth the $8. Let's get the blue thing at the bottom of Twitter. And because we tried for the longest time to get to become an authority. And until you really get that authority, it's difficult to get people to follow you. So we're going to give it a try.
You're going to just now give it a try.
We're going to just now give it a try.
You haven't been a big Twitter user.
Well, we've been posting Twitter for a long time, and I know there's active fans on Twitter, but whenever since you don't have the blue check, it's you don't show up very far. The people who are the raving fans were probably also getting the newsletter, or also getting the blog posts,
Sure.
or also following us on LinkedIn. They might have been consuming in lots of different mediums. I'm hoping the blue check will put us in front of more eyes that want what we have.
That does make sense. I was asking more about the Elon Musk direction of the organization. You have a view on that?
Well, the firm's losing money and has been for a really long time. Then he used the cash inside of Twitter to buy Twitter, which immediately exposed the fact that there wasn't cash lying around unless he was going to keep pulling from his pocket to fill it in. So the fact that he cut the 60 or 80% of the staff needed to take place for it to be a viable ongoing entity. At the same time, his revenues dropped. That's not fantastic for them, but they did drive up people visiting and interacting with it. And then because they brought so many people back, so there's more people using the platform. And I guess if I was trying to read his mind, I would think that the advertisers are going to come back because they're going to try and get to that audience. The short-term revenue fall, I think, will be replaced with the fact that there's so many users and they're going to want to reach them. Just like I had said to you on this call, I didn't realize that Twitter was a top 100 and may even be top 50, could be even top 25 sites worldwide. And there's not a lot of sites you can go to reach an audience like that.
Agreed. An audience is king. Is Emazanti on TikTok yet?
We are not. We have started to use video. That's one of the objectives for this year, is to start using video all over the place. The, I have a staff filled with engineers. These are the quietest people on the planet. You know, they don't like to be on video, right? I mean, I tell
No,
them
they have
you got to be on
hobbies.
video. um,
You're doing well. I mean,
oh,
we'll start with
I
you.
am definitely an introvert. I would hide just like the rest of them, but we need to come out and most certainly be with our customers, and so we're hoping that there's more video
Well,
used out
we
there.
certainly can help you with that. But you
I'll
shined on
clothe
today's.
you for the video, please.
I thought you did great today on
Thank
this
you.
video. We very much appreciate the partnership. It's great to see the growth over the last many years. Congratulations on that, and the retention and the revenue. I mean, it really sounds like you've built a very impressive and sustainable business.
It's really
10 years from now, we have the same conversation. Where is Emazanti?
That's a very good question. So I got 10 years from now, we're probably in 6,000 to 7,000 customers. I think that would be generally what we're servicing at that point. There will probably be a new CEO beyond me. I mean, you can start to see the gray filling in here. I'm very much hoping that we've built something that'll last for a legacy for a long time to go. I do think my company is a leadership factory. We added middle level management, but now we're developing more leads. So there's definitely people stepping up that want to do more. I'd like to think that we're in the dictionary. That's like a criteria for me on my bucket list, is that when you go to start typing EMA, it tells you Emazanti, right? Because then I'll know we did such a good job that the name is in the dictionaries all around the world.
That's a good goal.
So there's a whole bunch of things that come there, but really, why I started with the number of customers is that'll tell us that we did a good job. We helped a lot of people. We made the world a better place, and it's why we come to work every day.
Well, we'll end on that very positive note. It seems like you're certainly doing a good job right now. So again, really appreciate the partnership. It's great to see you. We will come by the office in person soon, and we'll see you at some of the events, I'm sure. For those of you who are interested in meeting Carl, he's at Propelify. He's at lots of our events. They're involved in a big way. Go to emazanti.net/news to sign up for that very valuable blog and the newsletter that comes out frequently. And we'll end on the high five. Give it to me on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Boom. Nice.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you, Aaron.